There was a question that I think lots of people are wondering about. Jeff Giroux 3247 posted the following.
So tell us, X-Farm, how far or close do you feel or believe or think we are in the new complete overhaul? The QFS has been up and running and paying and transacting for quite a while now. Everything else is about to kick off starting this Friday. Trump is supposed to make a couple announcements or tweets on X and Truth Social. The first is kickoff day.
I don't give date predictions because from a strategic standpoint, no military would ever do that. So when people come out with dates, I automatically question whether it comes from authentic intel. That's not how war works. However, Trump sure does like to telescope his moves, but when he does, it's very purposeful, often to put pressure which causes the enemy to slip up. No better way to get a criminal to sing than to start threatening them. I know that from my days working criminal investigations. But with the entire world talking about April, it's a fair question to ask, so rather than give you some intel that very few people have, let's analyze things. I've heard this April event from many sources, but I don't bank on anything except gold and silver. So I caution people not to put too much hope into something big happening. If it does, fantastic. If it doesn't, it only makes people become fatigued about the future, and it could be a deep state agenda to break down patriots. I'm just saying, be open and don't buy anything hook, line, and sinker. With that caveat, let's take a look at what we have. Some predictions are based on religious events such as Passover, which cannot be completely ruled out as a selected date by this administration. We're fighting a biblical war, and these days are definitely important to the Luciferians supporting the deep state. We know that symbols are clearly important to them, so counter-symbols will be just as provoking to the dark ones. From a spiritual warfare standpoint, April aligns powerfully with themes of redemption, divine deliverance, heavenly conflict, and the clash between the forces of good and evil. So it certainly makes sense that if something is planned or even energetically aligned, this would be an ideal time for liberation. The question is from what? Debt, poisoning, trafficking, the medical system? There's hundreds of aspects of the matrix that enslave us and require liberation, and I caution people to not interpret these dates as the Great Awakening or the ushering in of medbeds. We pray for that, but that's just not how we've seen things happening. There's a slow process that is required to do this thing right. In Judaism, April is the month of Nisan, the first month which suggests new beginnings, release from bondage, and God's decisive intervention against oppressive powers. Okay, so let's look at the dates and events from a biblical eyeglass. April 1st to the 9th is a powerful time of strong offensive action, and it lines up with the Old Liberation Feast. That feast actually points to a major breakthrough in the current war with Iran. And this same period is also a time for celebration, like a liberation celebration and feast. Now, April 3rd to the 5th is Good Friday and Easter Sunday, which of course symbolize peak victory, when the good resurrects its power, and the defeat of darkness is publicly proclaimed. Then, according to Daniel chapter 10 verse 12, on April 23rd, an angel revealed a 21-day delay due to the battle with the Prince of Persia, a demonic territorial spirit. And, as everyone should know by now, Persia is what we call Iran today. So that's a pretty tight prediction, isn't it? From this perspective, I'd say the end, or, at the very least, something significant in the Iran war, is a strong possibility. There's actually other reasons for this notion that we'll cover further along. So April 23rd is a prime day for a briefing that goes further than just Iran, and exposes this battle between evil and good, symbolizing the heavenly or vibrational conflict that's spilled out into our world. Of course, once we bring in the concept of heaven, we really open the gates to extraterrestrial disclosure. Alright, let's look at the sky signs next. April 1st and 2nd is the full pink moon, which is a time of illumination. Multiple comets might be visible around April 4th or 5th. but I think that April 18th is really driving the narrative. At this time, there will be a very rare, four-planet alignment that could be seen in the pre-dawn sky. The four planets that are in alignment are Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune. This might be seen as a powerful gathering of energies from opposing forces lining up, potentially pointing to a realignment of earthly powers. According to Chris Bledsoe, who's a documented UFO contactee, there's also supposed to be a celestial alignment between Regulus and the Great Sphinx's gaze on the 5th, which is Easter Sunday, and the movement of Regulus. We're also expecting the Lyrid meteor shower around April 21st to the 23rd, with the peak happening on the night of the 22nd. There should be about 10 to 20 meteors per hour, so lots of falling and shooting stars to look forward to. This all kind of implies heavenly activity. There's also a significant astrological event on April 25th when Uranus enters Gemini, marking the start of a new 7-year cycle. This symbolizes a new phase of a larger conflict, where new patterns emerge and rapid developments begin. Many prophets see April as a time of divine openings, and there's talk about extraterrestrial orbs making themselves known and appearing again, just like they did in December 2024. Bledsoe predicted that during an Iran-Israel missile exchange around Easter in April 2026, thousands of glowing orbs will rise from the oceans worldwide as intervening beings step in to stop escalation toward nuclear catastrophe and, as he puts it, wake humanity up. In 2012, Bledsoe wrote down a vision and handed it to the Pentagon. It said, "During an Iran-Israel missile exchange in April 2026, thousands of orbs will rise from the oceans." He called these intervening entities to wake up humanity. He said this will stop escalation towards nuclear catastrophe. It's my belief that this is not accurate, and here's why. We've repeatedly been assured that there are no nuclear weapons on the planet as part of this evolutionary shift. We also know that galactics cannot intervene according to the Prime Directive that they must abide by. A video about this will be in the description. I'm not disputing that an operation of reveal involving orbs could occur, because the Federation is working with the Terrans, or the people of the Earth. Think of it as part of the plan for liberating the planet. What I would dispute is that the Federation is intervening to stop a nuclear catastrophe. That's just fear-based and inaccurate, so this one goes on the back burner for me. There are 4chan channels promoting blackouts, naval wars, U.S. civil unrest, and limited nuclear attacks. They're also predicting the staged holographic alien invasion false flag, which includes orbs. Again, the nuclear attack is inaccurate, though they do say limited. One of my trusted sources, Elena Danan, has not given any particular April prediction, because, as I said, this is just not strategic to telescope operations, and also it's not the Federation's job to tell us. I see them more as guides from experts that have been involved with the evolution of many civilizations, but we, the people of Earth and the Global Earth Alliance, are running this show. The technology is an earned gift, not an entitlement. Elena has reported that in early March 2026, Thor Han has mentioned imminent operations for the liberation of Earth that may happen in the following days or weeks. It will not be presented as a panic-inducing event, but as a positive development. First, I trust Elena implicitly, because she confirmed her connection to extraterrestrials to me and 1,000 others. I will link a video of that event also. I've seen UFOs before, but this was confirmation that they are seeing and interacting with me. No analysis would be complete without looking at what number 17 has to say about April, and it turns out that there's a lot. First, number 17 repeatedly speaks of April showers, so Anons have been looking at April as a significant month for years. Post number 988, posted on April 2, 2008, tells us that April is a big month with several events in the forefront. The drop mentions Iran, and Israeli media is reporting that the United States has set April 9th as a potential target date to end the war. And this is a real possibility in my mind. Post number 998 also mentions NK, which is North Korea, who has strongly condemned the U.S. strikes on Iran, but at the same time, there's discussion about a possible U.S.-North Korea summit in the future, possibly tied to Trump's planned Asia-China trip originally suggested for April. Then there's the border wall. The Post clearly states that military involvement will occur at the U.S.-Mexico border wall. The deployment of thousands of troops, creating new militarized zones and national defense areas on federal land in California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, has transferred land to military control, and we are using soldiers for various related tasks. Notably, we have now moved ICE agents into airports, which all signals preparation for some event. The national defense areas in these states make them extensions of military bases, and they now extend to over 1/3 of the southern border. On the land transfers, over 109,000 acres in New Mexico have been transferred from the Interior Department or other agencies to the Department of Defense. This gives the military direct control, turning the areas into restricted military installations. After the main post, 2 minutes and 15 seconds later, another drop occurred. Number 989 elaborates with Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, Google. Big problems. Posts from number 17 are historic, and some of the things may have happened in previous years, but there are always deltas that were posted like time capsules predicting the future. So since Iran hasn't been defeated in the past, we shouldn't dismiss the clues from 17. So let's wrap all this up. Spiritually, it's a time for resurrection and casting out evil. April represents the first month of release from bondage. The days before Easter Sunday will have activity, but it's the 23rd that is more indicative of a press release or other revelation to the people. Astronomically and astrologically, we have a very rare 4-planet alignment, along with many comets and other celestial activity, which ushers a 7-year new phase of a larger conflict, where new patterns and rapid developments begin. Many are speaking of orbs, but seem to be presenting them from a fear-based aspect. For this reason, I question the sources, but not the idea of orbs, which would be the most obvious first appearance. It would be safer for the ETs and create fewer aggressive disinformation narratives about their arrival. At this time, there could be a desperate false flag alien invasion attempt to control the people's response. We've got number 17 confirming that April is a big month, with several events in the forefront. Specifically, it talks about April 9th as a potential target date to end the war. Military is predicted, and we know that a large portion of the border has been set up as militarized zones. Lastly, this month, Thor Han mentioned imminent operations for the liberation of Earth that may happen in the following days or weeks. He continued that it won't be a panic-inducing event, but will be conveyed as a positive development. Now, add all that to the fact that Congress is going on vacation for a month on March 28th. TSA is not getting paid, and Trump sent federal ICE agents in and has threatened to send in the National Guard if necessary. Airline disruptions have always been considered an integral part of a shutdown. So there you go, guys. The current circumstances create a perfect storm, and we've been told for a decade that a storm is coming. Whether this is simply April showers or the full-blown storm should be known soon. Be prepared for disclosure, but realize that it's an ongoing process, and in all likelihood, April will not be a blaze of glory, but the spark to a gradual illumination.